The aviation industry was rocked to its core when Boeing, once the pinnacle of American engineering prowess, pleaded guilty to criminal charges related to the 737 MAX crashes. This unprecedented move sent shockwaves through the aerospace sector and beyond. It marked a stark departure from Boeing's century-long reputation for excellence and safety. The guilty plea was more than just a legal formality. It was an admission of failure at the highest levels of corporate governance. The implications of this plea are far-reaching, touching every aspect of Boeing's operations and the broader aviation ecosystem. It's not just about financial penalties or legal consequences. This plea has fundamentally altered the relationship between Boeing, regulators, airlines, and the flying public. Trust, once implicit in the Boeing name, now must be painstakingly rebuilt. The company faces an uphill battle to restore confidence in its products and processes. The guilty plea also raises serious questions about the future of aviation safety oversight. How could such catastrophic failures occur in an industry known for its rigorous standards? This case has exposed gaps in the regulatory framework and highlighted the dangers of too cozy relationships between manufacturers and oversight bodies. It's a wake-up call for the entire industry, prompting a re-evaluation of safety protocols and the very culture of aviation manufacturing. Moreover, Boeing's admission of guilt has global ramifications. As one of America's largest exporters, Boeing's troubles ripple through international trade relations and economic forecasts. The company's struggles impact not just its own workforce, but entire communities and supply chains dependent on aerospace manufacturing. This guilty plea is more than a corporate mea culpa. It's a pivotal moment that could reshape the future of commercial aviation and America's industrial landscape. Boeing's guilty plea came as part of a deferred prosecution agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice. The charges were serious: conspiracy to defraud the United States. This stemmed from Boeing's actions in misleading regulators about the safety of its 737 MAX aircraft. The company admitted to withholding crucial information about the plane's Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. This system was implicated in 2 fatal crashes that claimed 346 lives. The financial penalties were staggering. Boeing agreed to pay $2.5 billion as part of the settlement. This sum was divided into 3 parts: a criminal monetary penalty of $243.6 million, compensation payments to Boeing's 737 MAX airline customers of $1.77 billion, and the establishment of a $500 million crash victim beneficiaries fund. These fines were among the largest ever imposed on a company for criminal misconduct. They reflected the gravity of Boeing's actions and the devastating consequences of its deception. Beyond the financial penalties, Boeing agreed to stringent compliance measures. The company must establish an independent corporate compliance program. This program will oversee Boeing's policies, practices, and internal controls related to fraud and deception in dealings with regulators. Boeing also agreed to enhanced reporting requirements. It must promptly disclose any evidence or allegations of serious fraud committed by its employees to the Department of Justice. These compliance measures are designed to prevent future misconduct and rebuild trust with regulators. Boeing must cooperate with ongoing investigations and potential prosecutions of individuals. The company is required to strengthen its compliance policies and procedures. This includes improved training for employees involved in regulatory submissions. Boeing must also enhance its disclosure program, encouraging employees to report potential misconduct without fear of retaliation. These measures represent a significant overhaul of Boeing's corporate culture and internal processes. The Boeing 737 MAX crashes were 2 of the most tragic events in modern aviation history. The first occurred on October 29th, 2018, when Lion Air Flight 610 plunged into the Java Sea shortly after takeoff from Jakarta, Indonesia. All 189 passengers and crew on board perished. Less than 5 months later, on March 10, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashed near Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, killing all 157 people on board. These two disasters, occurring within such a short span, raised immediate red flags about the safety of the 737 MAX. Investigations revealed a common factor in both crashes, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. This automated flight control system was designed to prevent stalls in certain flight conditions. However, it could be triggered by faulty sensor readings, pushing the plane's nose down even when not necessary. Pilots, unaware of the system's existence or its potential malfunction, struggled to regain control. Boeing's failure to adequately inform pilots and regulators about MCAS became the central issue in the ensuing scandal. The fallout from these crashes was immediate and severe. Aviation authorities worldwide grounded the 737 MAX fleet. This unprecedented global grounding lasted nearly 2 years, from March 2019 to November 2020. During this time, Boeing faced intense scrutiny from regulators, lawmakers, and the public. The company's reputation for safety and reliability was shattered. Airlines were forced to cancel thousands of flights, leading to significant financial losses and operational disruptions. In January 2021, Boeing reached a $2.5 billion settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice. This settlement addressed criminal charges related to the company's conduct in the 737 MAX certification process. It included fines, compensation to airlines, and a fund for crash victims' families. However, this settlement did not mark the end of Boeing's legal troubles. The company continued to face civil lawsuits from families of crash victims and shareholders. The 2021 settlement set the stage for the more recent guilty plea, which further cemented Boeing's admission of wrongdoing and commitment to reform. Section 4. Turbulence ahead. Impact on Boeing's operations and contracts. Boeing's guilty plea has far-reaching implications for its operations, particularly in relation to government contracts. As a major defense contractor, Boeing relies heavily on government business. The admission of criminal conduct raises questions about the company's eligibility for future contracts. Under federal regulations, companies convicted of certain crimes can be barred from government work. While Boeing's deferred prosecution agreement may provide some protection, the stigma of the guilty plea could influence procurement decisions. The impact on Boeing's commercial operations is equally significant. Airlines and leasing companies, key customers for Boeing's commercial aircraft, may hesitate to place new orders or may seek more favorable terms. The company's reputation for safety and reliability, crucial in the aviation industry, has been severely damaged. Rebuilding trust with customers will be a long and challenging process. Boeing may need to offer additional guarantees or incentives to secure new orders and maintain its market share against rival Airbus. Internally, Boeing faces the daunting task of overhauling its corporate culture and processes. The guilty plea necessitates a comprehensive review of safety protocols, design practices, and communication procedures. This could lead to significant operational changes and increased costs. The company may need to invest heavily in additional training, quality control measures, and compliance programs. These changes could impact production schedules and profitability in the short to medium term. Moreover, Boeing's ability to innovate and develop new aircraft models may be hampered. The resources, both financial and human, required to address the fallout from the 737 MAX scandal could divert attention from research and development efforts. This comes at a critical time when the aviation industry is pushing for more fuel-efficient and environmentally friendly aircraft. Boeing's competitors may seize this opportunity to gain a technological edge. The company must balance addressing its past mistakes with investing in its future competitiveness. Section 5. Voices of grief and justice reactions from families and legal experts. The reactions from families of the 737 MAX crash victims to Boeing's guilty plea have been a mix of relief, anger, and skepticism. Many families view the plea as a long overdue admission of responsibility. However, they also express frustration that it took years of pressure and legal battles to reach this point. Some family members have stated that while the guilty plea is a step in the right direction, it does not bring closure or fully address the pain of their loss. There's a prevailing sentiment that no amount of financial compensation can make up for the lives lost due to Boeing's negligence. Legal experts have weighed in on the significance of Boeing's guilty plea. Many see it as a landmark case in corporate criminal liability. The plea sets a precedent for holding large corporations accountable for actions that lead to loss of life. Some experts argue that the penalties, while substantial, may not be severe enough given the scale of the tragedy and Boeing's financial resources. Others point out that the deferred prosecution agreement allows Boeing to avoid some of the most severe consequences of a criminal conviction, such as automatic debarment from government contracts. Critics of the plea deal argue that it doesn't go far enough in addressing individual accountability. While Boeing as a corporation has admitted guilt, no high-level executives have faced criminal charges. This has led to discussions about the effectiveness of corporate criminal liability in deterring individual misconduct. Some legal scholars suggest that without personal consequences for decision-makers, there's less incentive for cultural change within large organizations. On the other hand, proponents of the plea deal argue that it strikes a balance between accountability and practicality. They point out that the agreement includes significant financial penalties and compliance measures that will have a lasting impact on Boeing's operations. The requirement for an independent compliance monitor is seen as a particularly important step in ensuring ongoing oversight and reform. However, even supporters of the deal acknowledge that its ultimate effectiveness will depend on how rigorously the compliance measures are implemented and enforced in the coming years. Section 6. Rebuilding trust. Boeing's path forward in a changed landscape. Boeing's path forward in the wake of its guilty plea is fraught with challenges. The company must navigate a drastically altered landscape where its once sterling reputation has been severely tarnished. Rebuilding trust with regulators, airlines, and the flying public is paramount. This process will likely take years and require a fundamental shift in Boeing's corporate culture. The company needs to demonstrate a genuine commitment to safety and transparency that goes beyond mere compliance with legal requirements. One of Boeing's immediate priorities is to reform its internal processes and decision-making structures. This includes enhancing safety protocols, improving communication channels between engineers and management, and fostering a culture where employees feel empowered to raise concerns without fear of retaliation. The company may need to bring in outside experts to help overhaul its safety and quality control systems. Additionally, Boeing should consider implementing more rigorous testing and certification processes that go above and beyond regulatory requirements. Regaining the confidence of airlines and passengers is another crucial challenge. Boeing may need to launch a comprehensive public relations campaign to address safety concerns and highlight the steps it's taking to prevent future incidents. This could include increased transparency about its aircraft development processes and more frequent updates on safety improvements. The company might also consider offering additional training and support to airlines operating its aircraft, demonstrating a commitment to partnership and shared responsibility for aviation safety. Looking to the future, Boeing must balance addressing its past mistakes with investing in innovation. The aviation industry is evolving rapidly, with increasing emphasis on fuel efficiency, environmental sustainability, and new technologies like electric propulsion. Boeing needs to ensure that its focus on rectifying past issues doesn't come at the expense of future competitiveness. This may require a delicate balancing act of resources and priorities. Ultimately, Boeing's ability to navigate these challenges will determine not just its own future, but also its role in shaping the future of global aviation. The company's response to this crisis could set new standards for corporate accountability and safety in the aerospace industry.